So far, we have already created the basic navigation and all of the pages that are going to be inside of our travel record application. But mainly, we've been focusing on the SAML side. We have designed one of the pages, we have created the rest of the pages, we have implemented tabs, and we have recently implemented resources and styles. We have barely touched the C# code. The next step is for us to get really deep into the functionality of our application. And all of that is going to be coded with C#. But before moving forward into that, this section is going to teach you all of the things that you need to know about C# so you can code the functionality of the applications without feeling overwhelmed. And to learn C#, we are going to be using a console application. So in this lecture, let's go ahead and create a console application right here on Visual Studio. Just like for creating a new SAML application, creating a console application is very easy. All you have to do is go to Visual Studio and select Create New Project, either from the Start page or from the File menu. In the New Project window, you'll probably be able to see a console app template. If you don't see it, you can find it inside of Visual C#, Windows Classic Desktop, and it's going to be probably the third option. Once you have selected the console application, just give it a name. In this case, it's going to be C# section. And we're going to click on OK. In this case, we do not need to do anything more like we have on Xamarin. We already have the console application ready. The console application is basically going to run code inside of the console or the terminal in the case of macOS. And while we are not really going to create any sort of application in here, we are going to practice C# by coding certain functionalities inside of this program. Just as a quick test, let's add some code, some functionality inside of the main method. The main method is always going to be the first method to be executed inside of a console application. And it's in here where we can do something like console.writeLine and add some parentheses and add whatever we want to write into the console. In this case, I want to write some text and I'm going to write hello world and I'm going to add a semicolon at the end. So this console.writeLine method is going to allow us to write a new line inside of the console. To be able to test this, all we have to do is click on the Run button, and this is going to launch our console. So you may have been able to briefly take a look at the console, or in the case of macOS, it probably stayed open and you are able to see Hello World right in there. But in the case of Windows, what happened is that the program executed because there is nothing else to do, the program ended and the console was closed. To be able to prevent this, we have to add another line. In this case, what we can do is write console and then write read line. In this case, the program is going to be expecting some input from the user. So this line won't be executed until the user types enter, because it's reading a line. If it was reading just a character, the line would execute as soon as the user types any key. In this case, because we're reading a line, this will be executed until the user types the enter. So this will allow the program to stay alive at least until the user types enter. So we can run our application again, and I have here the console, and notice that we now see the hello world written in there. And now the application is not closing because it is still waiting for something. There is still a line of code that has to be executed, and it won't be executed until the user types enter. Notice how I can write and nothing happens because I haven't pressed enter, but as soon as I type enter, this line is executed, the line is read, and because there is nothing else left to do, the program ends, and in the case of Windows, the console closes. In the case of Mac, you probably see that the terminal stays open even without the need of adding this line, but that doesn't mean that the program continues to run. The program has been terminated. It's just that the terminal is still open with everything that happened throughout the execution of the program. Now that we have this console application created and that we have seen a little bit about how it works, in the next lecture, we're going to talk about methods.